Good evening on this vitally important FA Cup night. The two semi-finals have been replayed tonight, and we're able to bring you the action from both of them in this specially extended edition of Sportsnight. And that wealth of cup football means that we've had to cut back a little on our planned coverage of the Amateur Boxing Association semi-finals in Manchester. But later in the programme, we shall bring you the best of the action from those boxing semi-finals. Well, in tonight's replay between Arsenal and Liverpool, both teams were out to make history. Arsenal, the holders, by becoming the first club this century to reach three and controversial of the semi-finals on Saturday. Their 1-1 draw at Villa Park included a much-debated penalty and the sending off of the man who scored from it, Ryan Kidd, plus a disallowed West Ham goal. And the man in the middle of it all, referee Colin Seal, was in charge again tonight at Ellen Road, Leeds, where our commentator is Barry Davis.
That's the Everton lineup, with Bob Latchford, as expected, continuing to play up front in place of the suspended Brian Kidd. But manager Gordon Lees brings a real surprise by giving only a... Wright playing at fullback with John Gidman in midfield. West Ham United without Patsy Holland, who was injured in the first match, and also without Alvin Martin because of tonsillitis. But they have returned to fitness. Frank Lampard at number 2, Stewart and Bonds will be at the centre of the defence, and Pike will play in midfield. It's Kevin Radcliffe. His only previous game was against Manchester United at Old Trafford. So he knows something about atmosphere, and there's a really crackling atmosphere at Ellen Road for the first semi-final action they've had here since the stadium became one of the best in the country. West Ham in the white strip, and away we go. An early touch for Phil Parkes. Phil Parkes, who, like his opposite number, played so well in the first match. Referee Colin Seal. Martin Hodge, who, like Phil Parkes, had such a good game at Villa Park. This was a bit ambitious by Pike. And the referee playing the advantage. Some nice work by Gidman on the ball. Well, if he loses his legs, Paul Allen, who fouled him. Ken Lyons is up. So is Latchford. Taken by Devonshire. Goalkeeper has come out. Lovely little flick by Lampard. Here's Brooking. Oh, this is a good break. Oh, the flag is up for offside against who? I cannot possibly tell. Well, the linesman indicating on the far side. But it seemed to me that the players were all behind the pass when it was made. Well, let's have a look at it. Well, they did seem to me to be behind. Could have been the player moving back from offside in the foreground. Again, Latchford shot blocked. Here's Gidman. Fine clearance by Devonshire. Flicked it right off the toe of his aggressor. Eastoe. It's out. Oh, he knocked it down. And a good header away by Paul Allen. Bill Parks will hope to do better from the corner than he did with that rather napped palm down. Movement in the 6-yard box. Oh, it could have gone anywhere. Lampard across the 6-yard box, but referee indicating handball there. Not a second wasted. Brooking. Lampard has moved into the area. And Devonshire doing well to let it run, to give himself an angle. What a fine piece of play by Alan Devonshire. Everything was right of him as the ball came across. And he let it run. Couldn't get there with a challenge with Gibman. Let it run and hit it as it came down with the left, but just past the post, with the goalkeeper admittedly struggling a little bit to get his ground. Ross again, good save, and again a good strike. Really hit it well once more, and it really stuck for Phil Parks, who had to stretch.
The following 3 vehicles must be removed immediately as they are blocking the entrance to
Brooking.
the police offices.
Allen.
That's Australia HCA
Bonds. Brush. Pearson in the inside left position. Lines covering, it's a bit short. Right. Bonds. Directed header again, turning defence into attack. The ball with Devonshire. Not quite what Pearson intended. Advantage played again by Colin Seal. Good challenge by Brush. And wayward pass from Brooking. And now here's Andy King. Wants somebody left side. He's got Latchford there. Easter, rather. Latchford is in the middle. Here's Hartford. Disappointing shot on his right foot from Hartford. Let's see what happened to it. He flicked it a bit underneath it. Cross. Pearson. Little unlucky. Brooking following up. What a great ball. Chipped up for Devonshire. The shooting chance here. Brooking turns as disappointedly as did Devonshire. Chip up from Brooking, which was typical of him. He made the angle right for the shot and then mishit it off balance off the outside of his boot. There's Easto and Bonds, who withstood the shoulder challenge very easily. Lampard, Ross, Ike. See what his intentions were with Brooking making the run. trouble. Was there something thrown or what? Referee looking in at the crowd. It would seem that there was something thrown at Bailey. One is to judge from his action. And something too to pick up. Suggested he's a little bit richer. Minutes of the first half remaining. Plenty of positive football, several chances, but nothing on the score sheet. And the goalkeepers haven't had to perform in the way they had to at Villa Park. Allen. Pearson. Has been given to Everton. We've seen more of Pearson recently than at the start. Pearson. Lampard. Looking in the inside right position. Aware that Fike was wide. Up comes Devonshire. In the final seconds of the first period. And Brooking curling for Brush. But it curled just too far forward and sets Billy Wright on the counter. Latchford. Hartford. Gibman is out to the left. Hartford again. It was Stewart who got in the challenge, but I can't help wondering whether Asa Hartford waited too long before trying the shot on his right foot. And the last action of a very interesting half, in which Everton probably had more possession, certainly at times applied a lot of pressure, but a half in which West Ham, when they put it together, showed the greater fluency. At this stage on Saturday, Everton were leading by 1-0, but the remaining outsiders of an original start list of 475, West Ham United holding Everton in young Kevin Radcliffe at half-time in the replay. Gibman to Ross, to Gibman. 4 up with him.
Well, we've got a little bit of technical problems there, which we shall sort out very quickly indeed. While we do, why don't I bring you up to date with tonight's other football results. So, first of all, the Everton. You've seen the first half, now we can join, once again, the second half.
At this stage on Saturday, Everton were leading by 1-0, but the remaining outsiders of an original start list of 475, West Ham United holding Everton in young Kevin Radcliffe at half-time in the replay. Gibman to Ross, to Gibman. 4 up with him.
Well, we still have a bit of trouble. Let me just bring you up to date with a little bit more news while we cure that bit of trouble between Everton and West Ham.
And the teams are, as they were at the start in every sense, playing the same way as they did at the beginning of the match, and with still a blank score sheet. David Cross. Alan Devonshire, whose run almost brought a sensational end. Still looks the most likely player to bring decision. Stewart and Eastoe. Brooking. Again, that so important look up. Devonshire. Pearson, Devonshire, he's in the gap. Can he put it in? He can! Oh, that's a brilliant goal! That is a marvellous goal! When I said he looked the most likely, really was a lovely goal. Billy Wright tried, in fact, to bring him down and didn't succeed. Got the return and went through the scything attempt, managed to recover his balance and to slot it in as Ratcliffe came across. The referee having to delay proceedings as a spectator is taken off, and he might have to delay it further while Everton make a substitution. Andy King is the player who's coming off. And the new player is Imre Berardi, who last played for the first team on Boxing Day. Bailey. Brooking. Just too long for Devonshire. We haven't heard I'm forever blowing bubbles for a few moments. It surely won't be long delayed. Berardi, Lampard who got it away, but up comes Wright. 7 minutes left. Plenty of Everton players forward. Oh, that's done in superbly by Latchford. Really, it was driven in on the near post, and Bob Latchford goes to the faithful. The substitutes, as Gary Maxon, the ginger hair we saw, Joe McBride leaping in the air, Andy King had been substituted, and Bob Latchford has tied it up again at one apiece. It really was stumped across by Billy Wright and spectacularly turned in by Bob Latchford. Three minutes left. 1-1 the score, as it was on Saturday. Handball by Ross. And the linesman spotted it. It was blindside of the referee. And the cry you only sing when you're winning, which is rather strange, as neither side is. Brooking. That's a good run, a good swivel of the hips, took Harper out of the way. Headed out by Billy Wright. Pike. Brooking. Cross. And oh, it's gone in by Lampard! Frank Lampard has scored for West Ham! Puts West Ham back in front. Arguably a most unlikely goal scorer, but the hero of the moment. And this is how it happened again. Brooking was involved. The left-footed cross, nodded by Cross, and then wide of a despairing goalkeeper by Lampard. "75 seconds left for Everton to save themselves again." Here's Berardi. Now this extra period has swung first one way and then the other. Here's David Cross. Devonshire still full of running, it would seem. And all he really has to do is to hold it there. Here's Wright. Brooking. hard look at the watch. Brooking in a battle with Eastoe. Away by Stewart. Cross. Stewart. Too long, but it doesn't matter. Hodge desperately trying to save having to take the goal kick. Both linesmen have signalled for the referee. One last hope here for Everton. Rightly banged down the field, on by Latchford. Here is Eastoe. Haradi is up, Mick Lyons is up, Latchford is up. And Stewart gets it away. Referee running with his watch out in his hand. Ratcliffe, Stewart away again, to Pike. Everton subs off the bench to help. And that is it! West Ham are through to Wembley again. David Cross with his arms aloft. Jeff Pike as well. John Lyle turns quietly away, as is his wont, as the players go to their supporters.
Well, at least we now know one of the teams at Wembley. I hope that little interruption didn't spoil your enjoyment. We can meet now the two men whose goals put West Ham through. Alan Devonshire and Frank Lampard. Here they are now talking with Barry Davies.
Well, it's a bit of a cliche question, but I think it's the right one. How does it feel, Frank?
Well, we've been here before at Wembley. It was fantastic, but I think this time, beats it. Being a second division side and coming all this way and getting to the final. It's an unbelievable feeling, yeah.
For you, Alan, something new?
Yeah, it's a dream come true, I just can't believe it. It's just magic.
You, in fact, had a super game, if I may say so.
Well, I enjoyed it, I think all the lads played great, and so it was pity that someone had to lose, really, because both teams wanted to win so bad. And so little Frankie got the old goal.
But so often, Frank, semi-finals are lost because of somebody's mistake. Here we had 3 goals, which was as good as anybody could possibly have wished for in a semi-final.
Yeah, I think that's the standard of the game, really. It's such a nice standard that there had to be good goals, I think, because it was such, the game, both the games were so tight and no one gave anything away. And I think there had to be good goals to score.
Alan, let's take yours first. I mean, it was a super goal. Really marvellous goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't really remember a lot about it, I just remember picking the ball up and I played a 1-2 with Stuart Pearson. And the keeper, and I think the centre-half come across, and I just slid between them. And it was great.
Yes, in fact, he came across, I think, just hurling himself at you. It was Billy Wright, in fact.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah, I just not seeing. Huh?
Could you?
No, well, I'll see it going, though, won't it?
Be honest, when it got to 1-1, did you think that was another replay?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. As I say, like, so tight the game. And as I say, I thought the first one was enough. As I say, they've done great to get back. As I say, it's funny going football, and a couple of minutes from the end, and it's there.
So it's a funny game, and I apologise for this, Frank. I described you as an unlikely goal scorer.
Yeah, it's the first I've scored this year, and I think it come at a good time, And,
that must be the understatement of the season.
I don't know what I was doing up there, but I'll settle for it anyway.
Well, congratulations. Who do you want to meet, Arsenal or Liverpool?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Right, well, we're there. That's the main thing. We enjoy it when we're there.
Well, we enjoyed it tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, then, let's hear what Jimmy Hill has to think about that one.
Well, I found it a most enjoyable game, and I think that even Everton supporters, who I've always found to be very fair-minded, would agree that at the end of the day, West Ham deserved to win it. There's no question about it that Everton had the game early on for the first half an hour. West Ham soaked up the pressure gradually and got their fluent game going, and that Les Devonshire, who was nearly lost at the game, actually. He came out of non-league football back into the game, having been rejected. Really looks a prospect, not only for West Ham, but for England. And to see Frank Lampard, wonderful servant to West Ham, scoring that winning goal, I think really would bring joy to anybody with a sort of football soul, whichever team that they support. From this throw-in, Trevor Brooking's the man who puts the cross there. It's nodded back, and he just gently guides it inside that post. Coolness.